You know what? I forgot to put on my headset. One second. Okay, so I'm working on my background. It's a little cheesy, but well, I am decrease crime because it's free. Um, there's a lot of marginalized people out here, being mistreated as usual, and I think that there should be a positive platform built within the so-called community. And this story here, I want to break in and talk about real quick because it's pertaining to a Christian. Well, technically, I don't know whether or not um, Cameron Franklin is a Christian. I can only assume that he is, considering that his father is a gospel Grammy, is it Oscar Grammy winning? So I would assume that, he's a Christian. I hope y'all can hear me loud enough. Allegedly, Cameron was arrested for driving a deceased person's vehicle. And I think that sounds very interesting. Although I don't watch the Bad Boys Club, and I'm not a subscriber to the Zeus Network. Reason being is because I think that our purchasing power should speak volumes for us, meaning whatever you spend most of your time in, we need to be very selective because it could take on some legs and grow, I guess you could say. But I just want to step in and say that I don't know whether it's true or not, whether or not he's been arrested, but I would love to interview him. Cameron Franklin, I know that Larry Reed does all of the interviews, especially with the PK kids. And especially because he's a man, I think um, it's always best that a man interviews the man because then um, he knows where he's coming from a certain lens or perspective. But I definitely love the buzz that is creating. I think that the Zeus Network maybe can try to take on a more positive image as it pertains to Andrew Cardwell and Kerrion Franklin. But I heard about it through Gossip Girl XOXO because I like her content. But other than that, um, I popped into a other couple of people um, as they voice their opinions on what's going on as well. But this is just a really quick video. I just want to step in real quick and video. I just want to step in real quick and say that it seems like it's a really good real quick and it's a really good possibility that maybe perhaps Zeus Network can clean up their vibes because, like I said before, you had Tyler Perry, and so he had like a chicken script type of event or whatever to where the people pretty much supported him, and then he was able to and I don't know for certain, but he was able to kind of capitalize on his resources and was able to continue to grow from an infancy to a very successful entity that we see now in media broadcasting. But I think that there was a lot of discrepancies in Tyler Perry originally because he was playing Medea all the time, and they felt like clearly this is confusing. Why can't Medea be played by a woman? Why can't we find a woman that can act the same way that Tyler Perry does and play Medea? I mean, Medea is taking so many women jobs. At least he could try it out on a couple of women. And most people said they would have been fine with that. Him just going through so many different people trying to find a woman that plays Medea. But from a certain standpoint, I really don't have any qualm with Tyler Perry because seeing people elevated is a beautiful thing. I do believe that it comes off condescending now watching him. Kind of seems like he's trying to make fun of women, considering that he has uh, he's part of the LGBT community at one point in time, and I have no problem with that. I consider myself a part of that community, considering that I'm just weird and what you would call asexual. So, but I'm divorced with two kids, up and out the house and whatnot, and about to be just a little bit FYI on my background. But I personally feel like, eh, we were okay with that type of picking at women in so many words. To now, it's like the women are not doing the best or not being in the best of light. So I think the same thing with the Zeus Network. They're painting women not in the best of light. Then they have the girl there. She just comes off very much like Suge Knight and like the Sean Combs syndrome, to where it's like they just can't sit down and allow their work to speak for itself in so many words. To allow their creativity to evolve and allow other people to have the spotlight, because you don't want to oversaturate the market with your marketing brand. You can oversaturate the market to where people are just tired of it. Um, like I said, I'm trying to build my platform, so it's like, clearly I'm talking up. But to a certain extent, you have to understand that I feel like I have a leg to stand on because I do have a formal education. I'm not trying to beat anybody over the head with it. I am actually a Christian. I believe in God. I like to. I'm not in the brick and mortar church. I think a lot of women, all of the women need to come out of the church because they're preaching down at us and not trying to build us up spiritually. They're really just trying to get our crouch in our pouch in a lot of senses. And, it's too late in the game not to realize it. But Lemmy Palmer, I know Funky Dineva was telling him that, we don't need what he has in the community. And he's getting a lot of slack because some people are saying, well, that's exactly what he was doing. And that's how Funky built his platform, by tearing down the black female and the black community, essentially. So I do feel like Funky has definitely grown a lot and has become almost a household name on these YouTube streets. And so I think that's kudos to him. that's a blessing that he's been able to build up his platform. But, just pretty much the problem is that the women, the women. Um, Me personally, I felt like with the bad boys coming in instead of women, I think with them just having women on the show doing the same thing that they're doing, obviously is to exploit these folks. And so when you look at Cameron and the rest of the cast, you kind of wonder if they're in situations to where they necessarily don't have the resources that most would acquire by now because we're marginalized. And so it won't be the best thing for the Zeus Network to do if they're exploiting these guys. Now, I understand they're saying that um, there's a demand for what they're given. But just like Funky has said, there's a demand for illegal, a lot of so on and so and whatnot. That doesn't mean that you supply that demand. So I think this is a very good turning point. I believe in the vision. I see a vision. Maybe they want to do some positive shows like a talk show, but just lay low on the greasy part, the greasy aspect of like the people who are branding the show should have some form of professionalism about themselves. Um, but it seems like he kind of wanted it to be a little kinky and kind of go that route. And it's just, I kind of wonder if it's hard to deal with people that have money because you can't exploit them the same way you would if the folks don't have. But nevertheless, I think that they're going down a good, avenue as they have Cameron on the show, and I see that Andrew Cardwell, he kind of wants his place on the network, but just not with all that demand that Lunel or Limnell wants to give. The one positive thing I want to say is that I was very highly in love with the Preachers of LA, and knowing that the Zeus Network produced that. I really loved that show. I was very much, very much. That show definitely knocked Tyler Perry, um, clocked and knocked him out the box for me. I definitely would have, the class, the style, everything that it was given. I really loved it, but I understand that the church folks felt like there was something spiritual that was not being done. And I think it was just the opposite of that. It was something very much spiritual being done, but they just wasn't able to handle it. And so that's it. I just want to say, yes, it looks like they taking on a positive leg on it, and that's good. Um, Again, this is Decreased Crime, trying to build my platform. I would love to interview Mr. Kerrion Franklin. So, but in the meantime, family, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay blessed.